What's this guy supposed to be? The ultimate badass?
Hate these fucking little micro chargers. Fucking piece of shit. Fuck you, huh? See what we got going on tonight, bro. Welcome to tonight's show. This is the Frisco Report. We're going to talk about some Cowboys, baby. You know how we do it, all right? Well, give me 1 second here while I get adjusted. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Guys, let me know if you can hear me. All right. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Fortunately, I don't have my headphones. They did not charge. So I'm not sure if I'm getting sound. So, guys, please let me know if you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat box if you guys can hear me or not. Say yes. Give me some kind of notification. Thumbs up. Okay, good. All right, guys. We're in it. We're in it to win it. All right, baby. Yeah, man. So the draft, it's in the bag, right? So the topic is, did the Cowboys do enough to improve the team, you know? Or are we kind of back where we're at pre-draft, you know? How do you feel about playing a football game right now? Could you line up tonight, play the Texans at a high level and win the game? Or do we still have a lot of holes? Or did they whiff off? Did they miss on giving some love to some positions? You know, we'll talk about that and that sort of thing. But man, I the draft overall, you know, I think that they did a good job. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give my grades out tomorrow morning. You'll have I'll release that. But I will say that by no means was an A draft. You know what I mean? I think they did a good job drafting where they were at. You know, that bottom of the first round. I think they did a good job there drafting, and you know they filled some needs. All right, here's Mike, my co-host. Let's see what we got here, Mike. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Joe? How you been, brother?
Fortunately, I don't have my headphones, so I can't hear anything.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can change this. Hold on 1 second. I think I can get this fixed. Here we go. Let me see. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go. All right, so I can hear Mike now. So Mike, I'm talking about, you know, did the Cowboys do enough in this draft? Have they done enough to improve the roster going back to free agency and now the NFL draft is complete? You know, can we compete with the Texans if we had to play a game tonight?
That's a really good question, Joe. And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because if you look at the pieces that we lost in free agency, and a lot of these rainbow and unicorn fans were hitting the panic button, you know, and I talked about it, you know, there's not enough draft picks to, you know, make up for what what left. But when you look at what's left and you look who they brought in, whether that's Wilson, whether that's Kendricks, whether that's Zeke, and these draft picks they just got, right? Everybody that left in free agency was replaceable. The only thing that we got to look at, Joe, is can this draft class do what the draft class last year didn't, and that's make an impact. So if you look at it, the top 3 picks, I think will make an impact right off the bat, right? Cooper Beebe is going to be your starting center. Tyler Guyton is going to be your starting left tackle. Marquise Nealon is going to be in the rotation to go sack the quarterback. He had 12.5 sacks there at Western Michigan. So when you look at all that, I think that this team here is a little bit improved from last year than this point last year. They're improved this point than this point last year.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that. Yeah, I mean that last year's draft class was a complete disaster. They had to avoid a repeat of that, which honestly, it's still a TBD. It's to be determined. We got to see what these guys do on the field. They went with some smaller schools this time around, which just a few years ago, oh, we're moving away from that. We're going Big 5 and this and that. Fans were all about it, and now they're kind of dabbling again in the small schools again. So we'll see what did they do draft scouting wise, this sorts of things. Maybe they didn't want to miss out on a gem, but with that comes some draft classes were complete bombs. I think before McClay came in here, we were drafting players from St. Mary's, from Illinois State, some of these other just unknown type of places, bro. And those draft classes were terrible. But I think this draft class is different. I think they did a good job here with Mike Zimmer putting his stamp of approval. I think goes a long way, Mike. Dan Quinn was a terrible coach here. He improved what we had with Mike Nolan. I'm not taking that away from him. We had a better defense. I'm not taking that away from him, but he leveled off, and his scouting ability was terrible, bro. That we needed to get that out of the draft room. So I think you saw that in the draft class, Mike.
100% you did, Joe. I mean, you look at, what Marshawn Nealon was able to do, at Notre Dame, or that's the linebacker. Gosh darn it, at Western Michigan, what he was able to do there, he kind of reminds you of a DeMarcus Lawrence type of player, run stopper, can get to the quarterback. Is he a step over Dorrance Armstrong? I think so. I've seen a lot of NFL comparisons of Nealon to Armstrong, but I'm more comparing him to a DeMarcus Lawrence type of player, Joe, just for what he can do in the run defense and, potentially play anywhere on the line, whether that's inside, outside, stack your 3 to the left there and go get the quarterback. I like what Nealon can bring to this football team. And then you look at the corner that they got in here, a steal of steals from what I hear. Aggressive, has some injury concerns, stuff like that. Then you look at the linebacker out of Notre Dame. I'm sure you could touch on it. That's your school. But 100 snaps, 0 touchdowns. Probably now one of the best coverage linebackers that we have on the roster is with Maurice Leafu or something like that, something around that region. But, Mike Zimmer got his guys here, right? And then you look at the defensive tackle they got at Auburn in the 7th round. I think the last time they drafted a defensive tackle in the 7th round was Jay Ratliff. He's also from Auburn as well. So, I like what Mike Zimmer did. It's a variety of players that could potentially, we got to get Ridgeway back from the Commanders. They said, no, we're going to get this defensive tackle from Auburn in here. Who's a hamburglar, all right?
Yeah. No, it's true, man. The picks overall, I think they're going to be able to be contributors right out the gate. Marshawn Nealon, I think that was tremendous value. He was a 1-1-2 by Dane Brugler, his analysis of that. So, I trust that there. So, when we're talking about the draft, Mike, Darius Robinson went in the first round. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to force a defensive end at the end of the first round. Statistically, and this is a proven fact, the guys that go DE in the bottom draft usually bomb out, and we've seen that. You've seen a lot of guys drafted there, and they just don't do much. They just become slight contributors, rotationals, busts, all sorts of things. For DEs, you got to get those guys up early. So at the second round, I thought was tremendous by the Cowboys, and I think he's a more athletic Tyrone Crawford type, Mincy type of guy. This kind of dudes that can play on the outside and can move inside. So Cowboys naturally they're attracted to that. I think that's a Will McClay thing there that they've carried on. Whoever the coach is here, they just like that in their players. You know what I mean? So I like that pick very much. Kalen Carson, like you said, out of Wake Forest. I think this guy has the potential to be a baller for the Cowboys. If he can stay healthy. You mentioned that. That's true. He's had some health concerns. But I think you put him under Al Harris, you're in business. You know what I mean?
Definitely in business. Definitely in business, Joe. And, fifth round pick there with Carson. I think he's like 6 foot, something like that. The 301 Cowboys, he follows me on Twitter. He DM'd me right after the pick was made for Carson. He said, dude, I used to play with this guy in high school. So, I said, well, how was he in high school? This, that, and the third. He absolutely loved him. Ironically, the guy's a Cowboys fan, so it fits perfect here. So welcome to the team, Carson.
Yeah, welcome to the team indeed. Next, Stones, best in the business, Joe. Been watching since 2016, never retire. Thank you, bro. No, I appreciate that very much, man. These recent seasons, watching the Cowboys have really been challenging, you know what I mean? But it is a team that I love and that I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and money into. I've done a lot of upgrades here with the mic, the systems, and everything, lighting, and that's from you guys. You guys have really, propelled that. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be the channel that would get donations and just stay the same. You know what I mean? So there are some of that, but I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you being around for a long time. I appreciate you in the comments and checking us out all the time, man. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate that for sure. And you are the best in the business, Joe.
No, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. There's a lot of options for everybody out there. I do appreciate everybody kicking it and checking it out, man. So, it's never a dull moment here in Cowboys land. We touched on the draft. We'll come back to it. Let's talk. We have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Ezekiel Elliott. And I think, honestly, I think there's a lot of fans that are missing the mark here on this. They're looking at the stats. They're looking at, he's got a 3-point this and that. To me, I'm hoping I could be wrong, man. But if the Cowboys are really in fact saying he's going to be their number one and give him all the carries, I think that's a disaster, a recipe for disaster. But what I have been saying is they brought him in here to be a player's coach, not necessarily get, RB1 snaps, although he's getting paid, so that maybe they're going to just have to do that. But I like the fact that he comes with the experience. He knows the system here with Mike McCarthy already. He's got the relationship with Dak, obviously. And we talked about this during the draft about it, Mike, about if he comes in here, he's going to be chipping and blocking for Guyton. So I think that's really where he'll be used at. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping, Mike, what's your thought on the Ezekiel Elliott signing? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I think a lot of people, dude, like, that's why I like us, because we can hear Jerry Jones say something, whether that's all in, whether that's, the reporters asking, can Zeke be a starter in this league? And Jerry saying yes. We can read. We're very good at reading between those lines and not falling for the bait. And A lot of Cowboy fans, they hear stuff and they fall for the bait. So when they asked on day 3 of the press conference of the draft, they said, "Can Zeke be a starter in this league?" And Jerry said, "Absolutely." So people heard Zeke's going to be RB1. Zeke's going to be no. What Jerry's telling you is he has so much respect for Ezekiel Elliott that he feels that he can be a running back 1. Is he? No. He's not going to be RB1. Zeke's going to be a situational back. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and inches. Zeke's going to be our tush push, so to speak, right? So when you vamp this lineup like the Dallas Cowboys did, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, right? You look at that offensive line, you look at Zeke, and you say, okay, maybe, just maybe we can get some production out of Zeke. I'm thinking Zeke maybe gets 500 yards, 6 touchdowns, and that's about it. Your bell cow here, right off the muscle, is Rico Dowdle. 4.1 yards a carry, 500 attempts last year. Not 500 attempts, 500 yards last year. Very minimal attempts, and he still got going. There was still some spark there. So your bell cow is going to be Rico Dowdle. Zeke's going to be your backup running back. And Malik Davis is going to be your number 3. Maybe Nathaniel Pete, the undrafted free agent they signed. It's going to be either Davis or it's going to be Nathaniel Pete. Deuce Vaughn, you are on the practice squad, all right? That's going to be your running back lineup. That's my early prediction, and that's just the way it is.
Man, it's something special. Jose021, thank you for subscribing to the channel, my brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for joining the channel. Man, it's an interesting take, right? The running back room is lackluster, even with Zeke in there, because I hate to say he's washed, but he is. That Peace Hill injury robbed him of the cutting, the burst. And again, Mike, we talk about the feel good story. This year, it wasn't the draft pick; it was the former player coming back to town. The prodigal son returns, bro. The Cowboys always have to have the feel good story. They love it. They do it every single year. This time, it's Ezekiel Elliott, right? So people love it, people hate it. It's kind of what this season's going to be. I've been calling it the last ride, baby. Zeke, Dak, could it be the last ride? I think it is, bro. I think it's the last ride, bro. To be quite honest, Cowboys made it clear as hell that they that they're going to let this thing ride out, bro. And I think for that reason, this is your severance pay, Dak. We're paying you a pretty penny, 55, whatever the hell $1 million is, and we're going to bring your best friend in here, and you two ride off into the distance, and we're going to continue this rebuild. Honestly, I'm being straight up. I think that's what this is, dude. I think that's what this is, Mike. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like.
And it very well could be. Like if this draft class last year doesn't take on this year, give it 3 years, right? So that draft class from last year, Mozzie Smith, Schoonmaker, Overshown, that draft class could be Jalen Brooks. I think is going to make a big impact. Could be for the next coaching staff. This draft class, if you really look at it, Tyler Guyton a project. They're saying Nealon could be a project. Cooper Beebe learning center for the first time could be a project, right? If you break it down and you want to be very picky on things, this draft class could be suited for next coaching staff, right? So they could be rebuilding for next year if you look at the last 2 draft classes. So that just very well could be. But I think with the core pieces that are here with this team right now, I'm talking about Trayvon Diggs, I'm talking about Deron Bland, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, right? The core pieces of this team is still here. I think they still have an opportunity to win double digit, whether that's 10, 11, 12 games. They could be in that shot for a wild card. And we know how wild cards end up.
Agent Persuasion Jeb was an NB linebacker we drafted. Not a good pick. We were thin there. No, he's a good pick, man. You're going to hear people say that he was that it was a reach or he was overdrafted, but the Cowboys, they were handcuffed. They didn't have that 4th. We talked over and over fourth round. Yeah, we had the third, and that was a great pick. The third round was great for us, but not having that fourth, you just saw we were bleeding running backs, bro. We needed a running back. Oh, there goes that person. This person's still available. Will Shipley still? All of them just started coming off the board. Even Rasheen Ali, who we thought might have been there in the sixth, he was gone. I mean, we lost a lot of running backs. But is he a good pick? Yes, he's a good pick. You know, you have to look at the Duke versus Notre Dame game, Clemson versus Notre Dame, USC versus Notre Dame. Caleb Williams, the future bust of bust. We made him look like a little, you know what? This guy is going to be a bust. We ate him alive. And part of that is the defense. Notre Dame had a pretty good defense. Could have been better, but Maurice was a big part of that. You know, he comes with a lot of speed. He plays with a fire in him. So, you know, he comes from that Polynesian type of background. We know how these guys have a love for the game. They give their whole heart out. Manti Te'o 2.0 is not a good comp whatsoever. You're going to see that only because they see the tattoo, they see the name, they see the school he's from. So don't let any of these creators or bloggers or whatever the hell try to say it's not a good pick. To get him there where they got him, I think it was solid. You need a linebacker. Linebackers just didn't stretch that good in this draft, and they got their guy, Mike.
100%, dude. Everyone has something to say about a draft class, right? Way too early grades. This player should have been here. This player should have been there. At the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys had grades on these players. And it's hard to trust the Cowboys after last year's draft. But if you look at the potential, right? Like when we drafted a tight end in the second round, we didn't need a tight end in the second round. We needed a offensive tackle in the first round. We needed an edge rusher. We needed a defensive tackle, wide receiver, a corner, right? We've talked about this all year on the Frisco Report. So when you look at the positions they drafted, they were all the blinking light, as we've been talking about, right? So when the Cowboys, whether they went BPA or you feel they reached, right? At the end of the day, they did their due diligence on this player way better than we could ever, right? So we have to, as fans, we have to say, okay, let's see what these guys can do, right? Is it farewell? Can it all burn down and it just looks like a total disaster, right? That very well could be it. Could they look like a genius and we get 13, 14 wins? And now it's hard for me to say this, Joe, that we can only get 8 wins. We can only get 6 wins. The Commanders ain't beating us, no matter how you slice and dice it. We're going to sweep them. The Giants still have Danny Nichols. We're going to sweep them. The Eagles might get us at home, but we're going to get them at our house, right? So you're 5-1. Do you mean to tell me that you really think we could beat 3 teams outside of the NFC East? Absolutely not. We're going to beat more teams outside of the NFC East. So to say that we're 8-9, you're panicking. We just got to calm down. We just got to calm it down.
No, you make a good point, man. The NFC East is ours for the taking. Despite, losing. Who did we really lose? Right? We lost some players. You lost a tackle who couldn't stay healthy. It had been time to get that situated and fixed once and for all, man. It has been like 3 years at least that they should have made this move already. Okay. And I love Tyron, man. I will never speak bad about him as far as him being trash or anything like that. It's just father time catches up with you. You know what I mean? And good luck with him at the Jets, but he's gonna be out there in the cold. He's not gonna. I don't see him holding up. You know what I mean? But the Cowboys did the right move there. They moved down. They got the Detroit Lions overpaid for how little we moved down. We got their early third. That was almost like a late second, almost. So that was a great trade, and maybe that was Jimmy somewhere in the corner in somebody's earpiece somewhere. I don't know, but interesting draft indeed. Mike, And everybody in the chat box, who was your favorite draft pick? If you had one of these draft picks, who was your favorite one?
Oh, dude. I'm not going to. Everyone knows that Cooper Beebe is my favorite, but I'm going to change it up on the Frisco Report because I've already did a couple of shows talking about how much I love the Cooper Beebe pick. But I'm going to tell you this, dude. The wide receiver that we drafted, give me 1 second. Ryan Flaherty, 6th-round pick, 216 overall out of Missouri State, dude. He went on the 105.3 The Fan and said, I'd like to play like Des Bryant. When I turn on the tape, I don't see Des Bryant. I see a faster Michael Gallup. And I'm not talking about Michael Gallup the last 2 years. I'm talking about Michael Gallup when he had 1,000 yards receiving. He can get up, get the ball. He can high point the ball. His route, I like his route running ability. Like I said, it's just like Michael Gallup, bro. I'm telling you, this is a sneaky pick right here that I absolutely like. The dude ran like a 4.34 or something like that, right? And at the combine. So I like that wide receiver that we drafted, Joe. That's one of outside of Cooper Beebe, that's one of my guys right there.
Yeah, man. I would say Cooper Beebe is my favorite one only because he was still there, man. And for the Cowboys to take him there, I was like, man, I love the double dip. You know what I mean? And they did it on the O line. They needed to do it. And not only that, but I feel like you have decent guys that'll back you up. You know, there's nothing wrong with Bass or Hoffman. I think they're adequate. They can get you through a series or two if you needed, maybe even a game or two if you need. You know what I mean? But long term, I think Beebe, I mean, he's just a big, heavy dude. He's going to be hard to move, and he's going to move people out of the way for you. So, you know, to have Guyton there, Beebe, hopefully he's going to compete there at center. I mean, that has to be where they're going to play him at. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for this to get rocking and rolling, and we can start rolling over people and running over people again. You know, maybe those holes open up for this running game. You know, I think that's what we're going to have to hope for. But if not, I think these guys got to go and they got to be aggressive and adding another running back. You know what I mean? You've got a lot of bodies there, but give me somebody that gets cut, make a trade, you know, if you want, maybe use a 4th on somebody. You're going to get a lot of comp picks next season. So they got to be aggressive there, man, if they want to make that move, bro.
No, dude, great point. And I think they do got to go get a running back here later on in the year, which, you know, it's not over with yet. You still got your post June 1s. You still got your 50 going from 90 to 53. You still got a lot of things going for you here. So, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think the starting running back couldn't even be on the team right now, right? But my starting running back right now would be Rico Dowdle, Zeke being my number 2, and Nathaniel Pete or Malik Davis being number 3.
Yeah, Pete's speed, I think, is what really what they really like there. You know, they of all the running backs, he's going to be your fastest one there. You're running a 3, you know, a 4.37. So that speed to burn there. So if you can get him the ball, he could be a gem for you. I love this here from Army Mom Heather. I think we'll run a 2 to 3 tight end offensive scheme like New England did back in the day with Gronk, Hernandez. That's the plan. Schoonmaker will have a great year. What I love about this is I think they can finally pull this off. You know, they tried to with Escobar. It was a complete failure. But you have them now, you know. Ferguson is part of that new age type of tight end. Been saying it for years. I mean, I've been saying it since his rookie year. Oh no, you don't know. I remember some nitwit tried to go at me in the comments about Schoonmaker was gonna outbeat him and these other guys. I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. Fergie has the swag of swag, the hands. This guy is a boss, bro. Man, let's talk about our pick, Brevin Spanford. Man, we got to give ourselves a pat on the back, man, because we had him. We talked about him in our mock drafts. We talked about him here on the channel. So a lot of you fans, when we heard that we got him as an undrafted guy, knew that this guy is going to be the real deal. And Mike, he's the highest paid undrafted rookie free agent.
No, 100%. You know, I had AJ Barner from Michigan drafted to the Cowboys in my mock draft. You had him drafted in your mock draft, right? So we knew Cowboys tight end was going to be a need. You don't know what you got coming in from John Stevens Jr. Schoonmaker doesn't look like he's going to pan out, and Hinder drops is key. It really had a bad year last year, right? So he's high paid. All right, this ain't no Rico Gathers project. This guy can block, and this guy's nasty. Span forward out of Minnesota's nasty. All right. I think you might be able to trade Schoonmaker away for a 5th, maybe 6th round pick to another team, just because if Steven Jr.'s can pan out, if Spanforward can make the team, and you got Ferguson, your tight end group, man, it's going to be sloppy joes in a cafeteria, straight nasty.
I think the Cowboys are going to have the best tight end room. You know, you talk about all those names there. I think there'll be a place for Schoonmaker, but you know, you talk about John Stevens. You know, he was going to definitely make the team. They like that wingspan. You bring in Spanforward, who's got soft hands. He can catch the ball, and he's a road grader. So, I mean, it's possible that you'll see that formation, Army Mom Heather, for sure. You know, and McCarthy loves his tight ends. He's always been a big fan of them going back to Green Bay. That's why, you know, when I told you guys about Tyler Newman, the other part of that news that I was Brevin Spanforward, because they were there. They had high interest in both those guys, and luckily they brought the boy home, sweet home, bro. I love that one, man. I you know, quick, like I think my 2 favorites are Pete and Spanforward. You know, from the undrafted guys. The rest, we'll see how they play out, man. You know,
But the linebacker out of UCF, Jason Johnson. This dude has a high motor. I wouldn't rule out Jason Johnson either. So you got Spanforward, Jason Johnson, and Nathaniel Pete, the undrafted free agents that could potentially make this team.
Army Mom Heather coming with the heat tonight. Great conversation in the chat box. I love it. Nathan Thomas have been working with Duke Manyweather, and Duke tweeted that this kid is a dog. And so what we heard was that you know, they had as high as a 4th round grade on Nate Thomas, right? On Nathan Thomas. So, you know, the Cowboys love getting these guys later, you know, whether or not that's true. But they've said this before. Like, we had a high grade on him and we were able to steal him over here. But, you know, they said a lot about it, you know, out of Louisiana Lafayette, you know, Raging Cajuns. All right, Raging Cajuns putting out some players there, Louisiana. And this guy could be a mauler. He could be your guy that you have you bring him up and hope that he could be your next guard, you know, whenever it's time for the great Hall of Famer of Hall of Famers, Zach Martin, to hang him up, or the Cowboys, you know, make a business decision and let him go. But, you know, you'll have a guy there. I think that's a possibility. Inside, you know what I mean? I think that's where they ultimately will put him. But he gives you that flex. You know, if Terrence Steele takes a doo-doo again, well, you have options there, Mike, you know?
No, 100%. Daniel Jeremiah from NFL.com had a 4th. Lance Zerline had a 4th round grade on Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of guys had a lot of 4th, 3rd, good grades on him. So to get him in the 7th, Joe, plug him in as a guard. Guy's nasty. Guy's a beast. He played a lot of left tackle in his career, but you can move him in. It's, you know, Tyron Smith went from right to left. Zach Martin went from left to right. So that's kind of like a common thing in the National Football League. So don't be scared of that. He could possibly be your right guard after Zach Martin hangs it up. You're absolutely right.
Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Man, we can't do this without you. Great conversation. in the chat room and on here. We love it, guys. Thank you for joining us here. As far as like how did they do enough to improve this roster? I think they did what they could. Now, Mike, and taking a peek ahead, let's transition to this. All right. Where is the chink in the armor right now? What are your 2025 needs?
You're gonna need some quarterbacks. Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, Dak Prescott, all deals expire this year. After this year, so quarterback. Then you got to look at running back, quarterback, running back for sure. Another wide receiver. Brandon Cooks is leaving, so you got to look at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, linebacker because you have to replace Kendricks, cornerback, safety. Those will be and defensive tackle all over again.
Whack-a-mole all over again. That's basically what it is, right? For me, and those are all good. I love all those. I mean, yeah, you could definitely make a run at all those positions you just said there, Mike. I'll go with running back for sure. I think is going to be at the top of their list. Taking in the first, I don't see that though, but I think that they'll have to go. First, I mean, they'll have to go at least day 2 of the draft and get a running back. You know what I mean? Maybe they can push it to the 4th, depending on how deep that 2025 running back class is. But yeah, running back is a 2025 need right out the gate. I think your D line, you can never go wrong adding another somewhere in the D line, edge or DT. Linebacker, like you said, Mike, Kendricks, 1-year deal. Cornerback, I think probably this might be the last ride for Jay Liu. All right, so you got to add another guy in there. I don't know about Eric Scott. That was a Zimmer dude. I mean, I'm sorry, Dan Quinn. Jeez, man, don't let me say that again. That was a Dan Quinn. Who knows what happened there, dude? Oh, the speed. He's fast and this and that. And we also gotta beware of the mini camps that are coming up and training camps. They're all hype. You got to see how these guys play in the preseason in live action, right? I mean, we all fall for it. Oh, he beat so-and-so and this and that. And look at the one-hand catch and all this bullshit. And then they disappear when the lights come on, a la Jalen Tolbert, right? So we're still hoping that Jalen Tolbert's going to turn into something. Wide receiver, Mike, you said is on that list. Hell yeah, it's on the list. I don't like that wide receiver room right now. Unless Flournoy, like you said, turns into something. Jalen, or the other Jalen, hopefully he can. Jalen Brooks, hopefully he can, leapfrog somebody and then make a Miles Austin type of leap. You know what I mean? It could happen,
Here's my two players I think can get traded here, Joe. Schoonmaker can get traded. Jalen Tolbert could be traded all before the trade deadline. Those are my 2 predictions.
But what do you get for Tolbert? I think Tolbert, everybody sees what we see. You get a bag of expired chips for that one there. I don't think you get shit for him, dude.
You might be able to get a 6th. It all depends on what team had, because he was a 3rd round pick, right? What other teams had him higher, right? What team had him either the same or higher? They'll give up some equity to bring him into their roster.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Josh Ball, Matt Walesko, some more trade targets there, or release.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about it too. You'll see people talking, oh, we can trade Josh Ball, these other guys. Would you trade for those guys? I wouldn't give shit for those. If these guys were on somebody else's roster and I saw the career as it was, I wouldn't give shit for those guys, bro. Well, let's go. Can't stay healthy, Josh Ball. It hasn't become anything, but I don't know. Maybe you could poke somebody's eyes out and rip somebody off, right? So you never know. It's definitely worth a try, Hey,
NFL believes in second chances. Michael Gallup, who's been a shell of himself the last couple of years, signed a $3 million deal with the Raiders, and everyone keeps saying it's a fresh start for him. people believe in second chances in the National Football League.
And the Cowboys are big proponents of that with players, injured players. Josh Brent, he's in the scouting department as an intern.
And for those who don't know, Josh Brent was drinking and driving and killed a fellow Dallas Cowboy teammate.
Yeah, that's a story that kind of had been forgotten about, and I think that's why, they let time pass and they followed Josh Brent. Obviously, he's probably turned his life around and give him, second chance, like you said, Mike, and that's good for him. But this is it, bro. I've been on record. It took me a while to catch up to you, Mike, as far as the quarterback there, but we need one, bro. Dak is going to take us as far as he can. Even Jerry has said that, and I think we all know where that's going to go. We're going to compete, man, right? We'll be in the mix and this sort of thing, but we need an unsung hero to really rise from the depths of hell or wherever the hell and help this team make a run, bro.
It's all about Dak in January, bro. You can't go 27-0 again. I don't care how bad the defense is. There comes a point in time where you have to figure it out on offense or go match points.
Oh, but does Dak play defense? The fucking little twats.
He should have, because he wasn't doing shit on offense.
Dude, I can't stand that crap. Well, does Dak play cornerback? Little fucking little pussy. Or the other one was, I remember I called out some lip shit and he blocked me because he knows I'm right. And you, Mike, you called that one out too. The first touchdown that Dak threw in that game was a pick six. I mean, you can't make this up, bro.
I know January Dak better than anybody, dude. That's just what it is.
But yeah, but that's what that is there. We won't go off too deep on that. Everybody knows where we're at on that. But man, what's interesting is I think a lot of fans this draft cycle were a little bit more in tune with some quarterbacks as possibly getting somebody. You know what I mean? Obviously, you have the diehards that absolutely didn't want to hear it. But there were a lot of fans that were ready for it. They were ready for Bo Nix. But he didn't make it. He didn't make it to us, bro.
He went to the Broncos, bro.
Went to the Broncos and Sean Payton. But Mike, 2025, we're gonna close it out with the 2025 mock draft. You heard it right. It's ready, and we're gonna give it one shot. And I'm gonna give you the name here, bro. Okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to FriscoReport.com. All right. That's your trusted source there for everything Cowboys here. The FriscoReport.com. Draft simulators. All right. Pro Network, bro. Here we go. It's the go-to. All right. Share this. We're going to share this out. It's too early to do it 22. Oh, my God. I hope there ain't anybody like that out there, because we're going to do one. We're going to do it real quick, guys. All right, here we go.
Appreciate you, Michael Wright. A+ on the podcast. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ooh, hold on. Let me.
Nick will do it. Yep, we got it. And here it is.
Let's get situated here. This is a 2025 mock draft. All right, obviously it's going to go by where we're at. So, honestly, it's probably going to be where we're at again. 24. I don't know how many times we've drafted there at 24. We're going to do first round only. All right, and
because we're the 24th best team in the league, according to Jerry.
Every year, almost. Okay, here we go.
That's what he said. He goes, you know why we're picking 24? Because we're the 24th best team in the league. Jerry's hilarious. Did you pause it? Oh, I think Joe might have froze. Well, dang it. Either Joe's doing a really good mannequin challenge or he froze. He'll be back in. I'm about to disappear here in very soon, probably 4 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. No, I'm still here. Still here. E-Ruse isn't a great quarterback. Joe freezing up like Dak in the playoffs. Ryan Doyle, you are hilarious. Comment of the night right there. I think Jerry wants Archie Manning. Danny Savage Jenkins, running back, Ohio State. Jerry Jones with his crazy answer. You're right, Brando. Jerry Jones say anything. Stephen Jones say anything too.
Tight pockets, tight pussies. Damn, dude. Let me see. Where's everybody at? I think we crashed the system. I think we crashed the system on that one, bro. Hell, Mike's cracking up. There it is, boy. There it is. Riley Leonard. Go watch him, bro. Watch that game.
I will. Did you do the whole draft without us?
I hope not.
You did the whole draft without us.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You weren't here, Joe.
Man. No way.
Yeah, you just did the whole draft without us. It was just me in here.
Oh no.
So when you came in talking about tight cooters, you just got back live.
Oh no. Oh no.
Why do you think I came? That's why I busted out laughing, because you laughed and came back with tight pussy.
Oh no.
Oh, bro. Nick will do it. Is over there dying laughing.
Oh man, yeah. Sorry about that, man, but you know. It is the internet. You never know what's gonna happen here, man. You never know what's gonna happen here. Yeah, no, it's not major surgery. He's getting some cleanup. So that's a guy that you could get a steal on, and this is super early, right? I mean, for all you know, it could be Sanders. It could be that we don't go quarterback. Maybe it's Trey Lance, Mike. Let's hit that up, man. Could Trey Lance end up getting the extension and not Dak Prescott, man? Because to me, if Lance has a phenomenal preseason, maybe he gives you enough confidence to be like, hey, man, well, we don't want to let you walk. We're going to let Dak walk because we're not going to pay him $60 million. But I think we feel good about you executing this West Coast, Texas Coast, whatever the fuck you want to call it, offense. And you, my boy, get the extension. Could that happen, Mike?
It very well could happen, Joe. Trey Lance has his opportunity, like you said, in training camp and in the preseason, Joe. If Trey Lance looks good, you can say bye to Dak Prescott. If Trey Lance looks horrible, Jane Slater said Dak could still get his extension in August. All right. If Trey Lance looks horrible, Dak Prescott gets an extension in August before the season starts.
Let me give you a name. And I totally agree with you. Another who's going to be available probably. Jared Goff. Does that do anything for anybody?
You hear the crickets? Do you hear the crickets here?
I'm actually kidding on that one. I don't even like Jared Goff. I think it's going to be interesting, man. This is what the Cowboys love to do, bro. They love to have this drama. This is Jerry at his best, man. He knows what he's doing, bro. You know?
Yeah, dude. And you know, they added more voided years to Dak Prescott's cap hit. So, $40 million in dead money next year. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're gonna stretch that out in the course of like 20 years, and Dak Prescott's cap hit is not going to be 40 mil. So they're either going to pay Trey Lance or they're going to go draft a running back. My vote is they pay Trey Lance because Jerry don't like to get uncomfortable.
Can you imagine the trade deadline this year is probably going to mean something big for the Cowboys? It's either going to be, you know, the running back committee is a complete disaster. We give up a 4th rounder for somebody. I ain't giving up anything higher than that. And maybe somebody calls you for Dak, and maybe they waive the freaking clause, like you said, Mike. They waive
the trade,
and somebody gets them, gives us a pick or whatever, and then you know we go into that draft, rocking and rolling with an extra pick or two or whatever it is. But either way, this is gonna be one hell of a season, Mike. Are you ready for it?
Oh, I'm born ready, baby. I'm born ready. Schedule should be coming out next month.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get we're gonna get to see if Cowboys are 8-9 or whatever it is. So we're gonna be able to see it, Joe.
Who are we gonna open up with? Is the question.
New York Giants.
Oh man, bro. Remember when we were doing that for a long time? Are the Packers on our list this year?
No, I don't think so.
All right, I'm gonna say we're gonna open the season against the Texans.
That's a good possibility.
Week
Texans
1
or Niners.
Sunday Night Football. CJ Stroud, the young up and coming Texans versus Dak Prescott, the last ride with Zeke. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. If that's the case, dude, and CJ Stroud plays lights out, it's going to push our point even further that this is why you get younger.
It's a young man's league, bro. We've been saying it forever. It's a young man's league, bro. Quarterback. It's proven. Stats are out there. Mike, what a show. This was fun. Sorry that the 2025 mock draft went unseen, but I did go quarterback, obviously, because I think you got to get one. We're not as of right now. We don't have one for 2025, so it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
No-brainer
Mike,
at all.
let everybody know where they can find you, bro. If they haven't already.
Yeah, _ Cowboys Corner on Twitter. Cowboys Corner here on the tubes. Talking crazy on Saturday. We'll talk crazy, and then Joe, I don't know when's the next Frisco report. This is kind of our quiet time of the year now.
I mean, we'll probably we'll see about next week. Pretty much, we'll still have some stuff coming along. We may go every other week, but definitely, I think when we get to that dead zone leading up to camp, when the team breaks for vacation, we'll probably do our vacation as well. So, you know, that's unless something breaking comes out, and we'll hop on here and then break it down for you guys.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining. Pound that like button on the way out, man. Do appreciate every one of y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out, everybody.